Hello and welcome back to the channel where we cover all things light novels, well, most things light novels, mainly reviews and me recommending or not recommending light novels. Today we're going to look at the light novel Demon's Crown, written by Reki Kawahara with illustrations by Yukiko Horiguchi, published by Yen Press. Now, you may recognise the author's name. That's right, this is the author who did Sword Art Online, a series that, well, I watched a few years ago, many years ago now. Wow, Sword Art Online's quite an old series now, and I was kind of okay with. I wasn't blown away by it, but I didn't hate it as much as other people did. Yen Press were kind enough to send me a review copy of Demon's Crest, the new series by the author, and honestly I was quite excited to read it. But, well, did it live up to the excitement? Well, Demon's Crest is about a bunch of school kids who are playing an online game that is basically called Actual Magic. Actual Magic, you can be, you know, the tank, the healer, what have you, your generic MMO style fantasy character. Our main character, Yuka, well, he's basically a monster tamer. That's right, he's the one who goes out and subdues monsters, but then also befriends them and captures them and uses the monsters as the kind of own little attack thing, you know, Pokemon style. And things are going quite well. However, all of a sudden, a lot of the kids wake up in their pods. Oh yeah, we probably need to mention as well, all these kids are in this massive warehouse building that's housing these pods full of kids playing these games, and yeah, it's a thing, it's a reason to keep the kids away from civilization because, well, reasons. And when the kids wake up, they discover one of their classmates, the most popular girl in class, is now a horrific monster who is going around eating other people. So Demon's Crest is a, well, it's an MMO type game only merged with the real world. It's a bit of a horror, it's a bit of a survival one, but it's also got the RPG mechanics that we all love in these light novels. I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a unique take on something that's, I mean, we see all of these things in other aspects, but to put them all together in one bubbling pot, yeah, it's not really something I've read before. Now, one thing I do need to make very apparent is that these are elementary schoolers, so they're a lot younger than your typical light novel fare, and if I'm perfectly honest, elementary school is likely what this light novel target audience is, because I'm going to be honest, these elementary schoolers do not act like elementary schoolers. I mean, there's times in this where someone gets absolutely murdered, like straight up killed. Keep in mind, elementary schoolers, an elementary schooler gets killed, poisoned to death, and the others are all just kind of like, oh, darn, and it's just kind of like, this is not a normal reaction that an elementary school, this is not a normal reaction that any normal person would have. I mean, it's very much the whole kind of like fantasy big action hero kind of way of approaching stuff. It's just like, darn you, poisoned person for dying, minor inconvenience. And it doesn't, I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, we've seen in other well-written horror stories that if a bunch of school kids get put in a situation, they are gonna freak out. And yeah, it's fine for what it is. I'm not gonna turn around and say this is a well-written series, because I didn't ever really get that chance to feel like that. It felt like it was a series that had a lot of good ideas, but then had to be dumbed down to appeal for very young kids, and kind of be like, oh well, you know, this is going to be scary, oh, scary thing for kids, But then as an adult reading it, you're just kind of like, yeah, this just doesn't feel realistic at all. I know it's a fantasy series, I know it's a light novel, but the characters don't feel genuine. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's going to be likely that in a big warehouse where kids are having to survive, there is going to be fallout between different factions. That's pretty much a staple in this kind of writing. But having the reserved, nerdy one kind of be the one who leads everybody up, it's just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right at all. Having said that, I mean, I'm being a bit picky with this one, but if I'm honest, there's not really a lot to say about this title. I liked a lot of the aspects. I liked the fact that it was a monster hunter trainer character for the main character. I liked the whole aspect that it looks like people are slowly turning into monsters. Now, think of what I've just said. People are turning into monsters. Monster trainer. Yes, yes, yes. Can you add one and one together? Yes. In a bit of an awkward scene, our protagonist pretty much catches Sumika, this girl who's been turned into a monster but is also very much still a girl kind of thing, and then uses her to fight other things, and I was just kind of like, yeah, is this small slavery wage stuff going in here? So, Demon's Crest, is it worth reading? Now, I'm going to be honest, I had a fun enough time with it. It was nothing special. I'm going to be honest. This did not make me want to read a Sword Art Online novel, which was a bit of a shame. And one of the things I did pick up on this is that it was very, very blatant in that the author and the editor and the publicist all know this is getting an anime eventually, so they're gonna let the anime do a lot of the heavy lifting. There was so many times where it just didn't really explain enough, but it explained enough so that an animator could probably expand on the world. I mean, like I said, they're in what's basically a warehouse. It's not a very interesting place, but in an anime, oh, dark corners, oh, someone's been killed and disappeared, or someone's disappeared, oh, they're going to have that little bit of a chill, whereas this is just kind of like, oh yeah, so-and-so disappeared, but then we turned around and there was a door open and went through that door and they were in there, and there was monsters killing them, and I was just kind of like, yeah, that's like a half an episode that's kind of just been written in here. The author does say that this is basically one that they are doing a webtoon of. So, yeah, it's kind of like they're doing the webtoon and then they're just like, oh, well, actually, we'll release a light novel as well just to kind of get that little bit more money. And, yeah, it's kind of, it just feels obvious that it's kind of half done. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's all quite there. Like I said, the characters themselves, there wasn't anything interesting in any of the characters. It was just your usual, I'm going to be the leader. Oh, I'm the tough kid. I'm the pretty kid. I'm the girl who's quite timid and will cry. I'm the bossy older sister. I'm the awesome older sister. I am the nerdy kid. You know the tropes, they're everywhere. There is nothing really here that kind of stands out. But I'm not going to say don't read it. I'm going to say try it out, because it does do unique things somewhat. It got a lot of things, like I said, the RPG style, the survival horror style. Yeah, it's done in a unique way, so at least try it out for that aspect. But that's just my opinion. What did you guys think of Demon's Crest? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is Sword Art Online worth reading? Let me know in the comments. And if you did like this, leave a like and consider subscribing. And I've got a recommendation. Go check out this video, because I'm talking about another light novel here that might be worth you checking out. I'll see you over there.